Hey guys, it's Driftwood for Gamerside, and I know I haven't been too keen on speaking English recently on the videos, and I regret and I apologize for that. But it's not always very motivating to actually record something in English, not knowing if we have people wanting to listen to me speak about games. And I guess I'm to blame, and so today I wanted to tell you about Baldo, as it comes out this Friday on the 27th of August, and it's a game that I've been following for quite a long time now. Been in touch with the developers for a few years, and it's a very small team of two people, mainly Fabio Caponi and Domenico Barba, and I'm sorry if I don't pronounce their names correctly, but I'm not really Italian, and they also got the help of a composer, Gianluca Cucchiara, who did an amazing job from what I could hear. And I wanted to make it clear that this is not a review of Baldo, as I haven't been able to play as much as I wanted. And I've just seen the first 3 hours, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. I couldn't tell you for sure. I lost a bit of time figuring out what I had to do, sometimes in the dungeons. It's not a game that will take you by the hand and guide you to the solution. So it's really a game, and in that respect, it's really old school, where you're going to deserve the reward of actually finding the solution, and it's something that a lot of people will like. I'm sure some people might find it a bit frustrating at times, but I guess that's what walkthroughs are for, and I'm sure you'll find some online to help you if you get stuck, as I was stuck myself sometimes for mainly stupid reasons. So Baldo is a tribute to the old Zelda games. As you can see, it's very Nintendo in the way it's done. Even the music, when you solve a puzzle or you do something important, the music, the few notes you hear, it's very reminiscent of Nintendo. And it's a game based on exploration and puzzles and combat, and it's a game that I've been enjoying a lot. The build, actually I'm playing on PlayStation 5, but it's the PS4 version. It's obviously not a PS5 title. Also played on Xbox Series X. You'll see a few gameplay sequences toward the end of the video. I'll tell you when. And the same thing. The game is running on Series X, but it's actually an Xbox One game. I haven't been able to play the Switch version, which is ironic because it was first announced on Switch, but the code doesn't work before launch, so basically I have to wait. Haven't seen the game on PC either, but something I will probably do maybe before release. I'm recording this a day before the official release, so who knows. But I have a few things I want to say about the game that I find maybe I didn't quite exactly like, but it's there in no way are big problems. There's the general map that you're going to see very briefly here that I don't find very convenient. The mini map is good, and it's the one you're going to use. The general map that you see here, when you look at it in the menu, it's a bit closer, but there's no real zoom in option, and you cannot navigate wherever you want on the map, so it makes it a bit difficult in the beginning to navigate in the to explore the world, because it's isometric. You don't get to see exactly what's in front of you, so you need to explore it in the old-fashioned way, and so just okay, let's go there and see if I'm going to find a chest or anything that I can collect. And it works very well. And you sometimes have signs when you're looking for a place like a town or a specific place like a villa, for example. and those signs you're going to need because the map is not going to help you with that. And it's fine, but in the beginning I was a bit confused, and maybe I felt a bit lost because of that. Then another thing, and it's what we're seeing now, it's the side quest, the very few side quests I've tried, where you have to backtrack and go back to the center of the village to get the shovel, when I think I could have gotten it before because I wanted to get it, but the guy wouldn't give it to me. So you go see that woman, and then she says that she needs you for those vegetables, and then you're going to need a shovel, so you need to backtrack back to the center of the village. And it's not a big deal, but it's something that I maybe would have enjoyed more differently. Also, the fact that when you have to carry something, you walk very slowly, so when you have to take the vegetables we saw before to the woman, it takes a while. So those are very, very small and minor issues. For the rest, I really like the level design of the dungeons, and the fact that although it had me a bit, I don't know if it's frustrated that I was, but I felt I don't know what to do anymore, just because I had missed a little something. And like, for example, here, it's not very difficult, but there's this block that you can push, and it doesn't it doesn't show that you can interact with it or that it's very important. So you need to be very careful. And sometimes you have traces on the floor or on the ground that shows that something can be pushed here. And so that is something that you're going to have to do if you want to be able to continue. And there was a point in this dungeon that we've seen before. So I'm not spoiling anything, and I try actually not to show many of the solutions of the puzzles and the way the ship is built, because you're going to have to remember where every room is situated, basically, because in the dungeons you don't have a mini map, so it's really the old-fashioned way. Like, I have to remember where I'm supposed to go, where I saw that. Where was that room, where I saw that chest, etc., etc. And then you have shortcuts that you realize, okay, I've found a way back to the beginning of the dungeon, so that is going to make it easier for me to go get the sword, because that's in the beginning you don't have a sword, so you have to use the objects you find to throw them at the enemies that you face. And again, it's time you take, but it's rewarding when you get the satisfaction to actually understand and figure out what you have to do, and that you've done it. So here you can see the traces on the floor, that the cannon can actually be pushed, and that it probably should be. And in this case, it's the only way to get to that chest, which contains, if I remember correctly, a dungeon key, and you're going to need all those keys. So as far as I know, at least in this first dungeon, there are no optional, interesting chests. Some chests contains coins or things like that, but all the keys you're going to need to move forward are going to be found in chest, or the sword here, the owl sword, that you're going to need, because if you don't have it, when you reach the deck of the ship, you're not going to be able to move forward. And that's when I got stuck, because I missed something, and it was a minor thing that I missed, but because of that I lost quite a bit of time. I feel I'm mostly to blame, because I didn't pay much attention, but you'll tell me if you have the same problem than me. I'll be happy to help if you don't know where to find the sword, basically, because that's actually, like I said, there are clues everywhere, and so you need to pay attention. So another puzzle, a quick puzzle. One thing I should tell you also is when you because you can screw it up. If you do, you just leave the room and then it resets everything, so everything is back in its original place, and you can try again. So that makes it quite easy. Another thing I should say is that I died a lot playing Baldo just for a few hours, probably even more than in my whole Returnal walkthrough, if you can believe it. Not because it's overly hard, but sometimes you have holes you can fall into and then you die, and then also the enemies, when you only have a few hearts, so the enemies can be tough, especially in the beginning when you don't have a sword. Then the combat system, you can dodge. There's a stamina meter, but only when you run, so not when you dodge. And there are boss fights. I've only seen one, so I'm not going to comment on it. Just the last phase of this one that I didn't find very easy to maneuver, I would say. I understood what I had to do, but every time I did it, I didn't do it in a very cool way. I mean, if you watch the video that I prepared where you see the whole fight, the end is pretty pathetic. But I mean, I know there's a way to do it like in a clean, nice and warrior way, but I have not been able to do that. But well, you can buy shields. There can be wooden shields and iron shields, and from what I've seen, again, I haven't played that much of the game yet. You can have them until they break, and I think even the iron one. But yeah, combat is as you'd expect it to be in such a game. So it's not Dark Soul as far as I can see. And it doesn't have like a dozen of combos, but I'm not too sure what type of equipment I'm gonna get as I keep playing. So it's really like first impressions and first peek at Baldo and what I can tell you. And like I said, the idea is it's a game where you're not going to be guided as much as in more recent games. So you're going to have to learn to deal with things on your own, to take the time you need to understand how to overcome not a particular enemy, but more like a puzzle, as in this second dungeon, for example, where you have to you don't have to be overly smart, basically, but you still need to think things through, and that probably hadn't happened to me in a long while, and that's why I was surprised at first. Now about the builds I'm playing, like I said, they're not final. Especially on PS4, 5. Here it's the actually Xbox One version. You might have noticed that the HUD is bigger, the minimap is bigger too. It's not because of the versions, because the Xbox One version is a more recent build than the PS4 one. All the different versions will have the same kind of look in this one, in terms of the HUD and the texts and everything, and the minimap. That we'll see in just a bit. Whereas on the PS4 version I'm playing, well, I was playing when I recorded this, the minimap was smaller and the texts were smaller too, which was fine by me because I'm playing on a very big screen. I'm very close to the screen. So hopefully there'll be an option to choose between the different sizes. They're not going to be at launch as far as I know. The thing they had to make a compromise because the game is also coming on iOS and on Switch, and you can play the game in handheld mode on Switch, so it had to be possible to read and to see the minimap, which I understand. So I guess, the possibility of having an option to choose whether or not you want a big minimap and big text or smaller one is something that they will probably take into consideration at some point. Remember that it's a small team of 2 people, and that they've been working on the game like crazy for years, and that for some reason they decided to port the game on every possible system instead of focusing on the Switch version as it was originally planned, as far as I know. Which, if you ask me, for me was a crazy move, but hopefully for them it will work out. So yeah, here just a quick look at the minimap. Like I was saying, if you're not quite sure how it looked on PS4, just go back, rewind the video and just check. But it's much bigger now, and just all the rest, also the LB button on the bottom right corner actually looks smaller on PS4 and PS5. Well, I think that's it basically. Like I said, it was more of a way to talk to you a little bit in English for once, and to show you the game, and without spoiling too much. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't look at the gameplay videos. Actually, it obviously it makes sense. You don't want to see the different solutions of the puzzles I'm showing, but this video you should have been safe, and I think you are safe. So I hope you enjoyed it. My English was not the best probably, but I'm trying to do the best I can. I have to improvise what I'm saying, and I don't always feel very comfortable doing so. Well, that's it for me. Thank you for listening and watching. Hope to see you guys in the comments in the coming days. Until then, bye bye.